Good morning. So in this video, I'll be evaluating the name Sindoor from Jyotish perspective. Let me do the mantras quickly. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vyam Vedvyasaya Namah Om Guruve Namah. Alright. So Sindoor, you know why it is being put, right? And the intent of this video is to look at this name from purely Jyotish perspective. Okay, and this will help you to see when we try to find out a name for an individual, right? Then what are the different scenarios we look at, and we take that into consideration. Okay, let us do the exercise. So before I begin and start talking about the name, first of all, looking at the current context, as you know that the ascendant of the country, today I am not going to talk about the Jatak but about the mundane, right? But I'll relate it later, the later part with the Jatak, okay? Because the ultimate objective of this video is to talk about the name. So the Lagna of the country India is Taurus, and for Pakistan it is Aries. So the moment we start talking about the ongoing conflict, right? So we intend to see how will be the outcome for a nation per se. So in the current context, what is the seventh house? The seventh house represents the opponent, right? It also represents a lot of other things, but opponent also to be seen in the seventh house. Very basic thing. And for Pakistan, the Lagna is Aries. In seventh house is Libra, okay? And the Lord of Libra is Venus. And when this entire incident started, right, 22nd of April, that attack took place, Pahalgam. What was the position of Venus, which is for Pakistan the seventh lord, representing the opponent? Venus has been exalted. Venus was exalted that day. So the position for Pakistan of the opponent lord, the opponent was exalted. Okay. And for India, the Lagna is Taurus, and seventh lord will be the lord of Scorpio. We have Ketu and Mars. Ketu is in Scorpio. Let's look at the Mars. At that time, 22nd April, Mars, what was the position? It was debilitated. So for India, the opponent was debilitated. You got the idea what I'm trying to convey? Even after then, though for India, the strength of the opponent has been weaker, specifically on that day when the event took place. Still, the event took place. Then why so? Because see, that we understand that the things are happening because of the congregation of planet in Pisces. A lot of planets. So on 22nd of April, there were 4 planets in the sign Pisces. Now, if I simply look at from India's chart, it doesn't give me that correct results. So that's the reason we have to go to the Navamsha chart, right? So from Navamsha chart, from moon side specifically, as Navamsha is being looked at from relationship perspective, these planets were in 8th house, signifying some danger. And specifically Saturn and Rahu, that Shraddha Yoga got activated when they are in close proximity. Specifically, that Shraddha Yoga got activated, and that thing happened. In spite of the 7th Lord being in India's favor. But on that position, specific position, that 8th house energy got activated. Okay. Now, let me come back to the name, because that is the ultimate objective. And then I come back to this kind of scenario, the timing and all this analysis slightly. I'll touch back at a later time. Numerologically, let us start looking at the name numerologically, because people generally, even when I started learning astrology, even then I had no idea that Jyotish has such capability that it can also look at the name in Jyotish or Vedic ways. I used to think that name can be looked from numerological perspective. And later I realized that numerology also is kind of a subset and a part of the Parashara's teaching. So as per numerology, simple, the way people look at it, the word Sindoor, Sindoor, it comes up with number 29, which is basically 2. Okay. And if I relate it with India, because this name is for India, and it is not the name for the country for a prolonged period. This name is for a specific period, for a specific operation. Still, we have to look at the synchronization of this name for the nation. Okay, what is the birthday of the nation? 15th of August. 1-5 is 6. And if I look at the total number, 15th August 1947, I get 8. So does this number 2, which comes out for Sindoor, numerologically, is in synchronization with 6? So generally, as per numerology, we say there are different families. One of the family could be 1, 3, 5, 6. The other family could be 1, 2, 4, 7. So this number 2 doesn't go well with number 6 that stands in a different family. So if I look purely through numerological perspective, my immediate reaction will be, right, okay, I need to change this name, right? So that maybe I may recommend, instead of Sindoor, let us change the spelling to Sindur, such that the name comes in the family of 1, 3, 5, 6. One such example. There could be some other permutation and combinations. That is purely numerology. Okay. Now gradually, when I understood, okay, there are different ways. Okay, let us look at the other common ways of looking at the names. The moment a child takes birth, generally people who follow astrology or Vedic astrology, so to say, they look at the horoscope and they say, let us put the name of the child basis moon sign. General custom. Now, what do I mean by moon sign? For example, just to give you a simple example, let's say Ram. The name begins with R. So for example, if somebody is born and the moon is in sign Libra, okay. Now, if moon is in Libra, the general custom is, let us put the name of the child basis moon sign. If moon is in Libra, so Libra has R word, so the child may be called Ram because the moon is in Libra. One common custom. So using the same analogy, let us apply in Sindoor. Where is Sir? Which sign? Sir is in the sign Aquarius. Okay. So does that mean it is activating the sign Aquarius? Yes, it is. You understand the reason why? Because in this case, I am not putting the name or calculating the name. Rather, I have the name available and I need to go backward to see which sign does the name pertain to, correspond to. It corresponds to Aquarius. And what is the relationship of Aquarius from India's Lagna, which is Taurus? It is 10th house, which is a great thing. Kendras and Konas are good, right? So it is good from that perspective. The name is good. Whereas as per numerology, I needed to change the name. This is just the beginning. Okay. Fair enough. So far, so good. Now, the other thing. I'm not even going to the lordship of Aquarius at this point in time. Okay. Because when we put the name of the child, let's say our moon was in Libra, we do not say that the name activates the Lord of Libra, Venus. We do not say that, right? So therefore, I'm not looking at the Lord of Aquarius at this point in time. I'm going by the customs which we follow in the society at large. But some people are very smart. They are knowledgeable. They say, okay, Rashi is one thing. Okay, moon may be in Libra. But I want to be very specific. I want to see moon is in which nakshatra, so that I can pick up that specific nakshatra. Libra may have multiple sounds. I'll pick up that specific nakshatra, specific sound. Within Libra, there are 3 nakshatra in every sign, and Chitra, Swati, Vishakha are in Libra. So the person may say, basis moon's nakshatra, I'll pick up that. Fair enough. So, Sindoor. So falls under which nakshatra? We are going backward. So falls under Satabhisha nakshatra. Now, in this case, we will have to look at the Lord. Because nakshatra and moon are related. We have to look at the lordship. So, Satabhisha is lorded by Rahu. So, when we looked at the Rashi, we kind of concluded that Aquarius was being activated by the name Sindoor, which is 10th house from India's Lagna, which is good, positive. And now we are saying, same name Sindoor is also activating the sign or the planet Rahu, at first instance, it appears, okay, oh, something not good is happening. But hey, let us take a step back. First of all, this is a conflict, ongoing conflict. I'm using a rather easy word. It is ongoing war. So in this case, we need to have association of something strong, something malefic. To top it all, Rahu is sitting in India's natal chart in Lagna, Taurus Lagna. So the moment the name Sindoor activates Rahu, it activates India's Lagna. While we have seen that the seventh lord for India was debilitated, and now we are saying the name Sindoor is activating the Lagna of India and making it stronger. Isn't it a good thing to have? And also, while it is good that war is all about military power and all, but also there are two wheels. While military puts pressure, at the same time, there are tactical things, there are dialogues, there are diplomacy on the back of military power, no doubt. So how does it come through? Through Rahu. And when the name Sindoor is activating through Nakshatra Lord, Rahu, it is a good thing. So then the people who are running the show will have the diplomatic power. They have the tactical power. That is a good thing. So this name Sindoor from that perspective is good. Okay, that was the general custom, whether we look at put the name through Rashi or through Nakshatra. Now, the moment I went into Parampara, then I realized, oh, the word is absolutely at a different level. There are so many other techniques which are given by Parashara, and Jaimini also contributed to those techniques. Jaimini Rishi and Rishi Parashar, Maharshi Parashar. So I'll not go into those techniques. I'll simply tell you the result. I'll not talk about Varnanka, Varganka, Katapayadi, a lot of things. So if I apply the techniques which I learned through my Guru's grace, Pandit Shri Sanjay Raji, Katapayadi or Varnanka, Varganka, all these techniques. So you will be surprised. So if I apply those techniques also they do some calculation and they can tell the name falls under this Rashi. Now there are 12 Rashis. The name can fall in any of these 12 Rashis from Aries to Pisces, applying those techniques. And that is the real numerological component inbuilt within the Vedic astrology. So that technique, that method is actually taking care of both aspects, numerology as well as the astrology. Amazing thing. And you'll be surprised to know that when I did the calculation on the name Sindoor, I found out that it is also coming in the sign Aquarius. Now that's a sheer coincidence, right? If it comes in some other sign, we have to do the similar calculation, lordship from different sign, different placements, and do the similar analysis. But now it is coming into Aquarius and we have done a bit of analysis so far. So we'll utilize those. But when we apply such techniques, right, we have to make the analysis from a different in a different way as well. So far we know that from Lagna, Aquarius is in 10th, and which is good for India. And we've also seen that it is activating Rahu, which is making the Lagna stronger. Now, let me bring something else. How will be, okay, before going to that tangent. So, is there any other planet which this Aquarius sign will activate? Now that we know that through this technique also we are landing to Aquarius, so we need to evaluate the sign Aquarius slightly deeper. So far we have only looked at the sign or the Rashi and Nakshatra. How about the planets? Do you know that planets do have sounds? So, Sindoor, so, is sound of which planet? In Aquarius there are a lot of sounds, right? So, go, but and every sound is related to a specific planet. The word so, Sindoor, so, is associated with the planet Moon. So this name Sindoor is also activating the planet Moon. And what is the relationship of Moon vis-a-vis India's natal chart or birth chart, country's birth chart? Is not Moon also the Lagna Lord? Rahu was in Lagna and Moon is the Lagna Lord. Taurus has two Lagna Lords, Taurus has two lords, one is Venus and one is other is Moon. So while this name is activating Rahu, which is in Lagna, it is also activating Moon, which is Lord of Lagna. So actually, it is making the Lagna of India so strong. And specifically when Moon is also contributing, we want that our emotions are in control when it is all about war. If Moon is getting stronger, emotions will be in control. We will be mentally stronger. And that's the great thing. That's the great thing. So from this perspective, it is looking great. And now if I relate this again from where I started, when I started the topic of discussion of name, I started with numerology only. Had I known aware about these Vedic astrology thing, I would have only looked at numerology. And I would have calculated it is coming at number 2, which is not in sync with 15, which is 6, or the total number of 15th August 1947, 8. I would have prompted to change the spelling of name. Now, I am not recommending or something that we should change the name of Sindoor. What I'm trying to convey this, now that we know that this name is activating Moon, and as per numerology, purely in numerology, we are getting the number 2, which is absolutely in sync. Because 2, it may not be in sync with 15 per se or 8 per se, but it is in sync with India's Lagna, which is more important, which is absolutely more important. Solely numerology will not land us anywhere. It has to be in sync with Vedic astrology or astrology. Rather, numerology is a subset of astrology. The way we look at Katapayadi, Varganka, Varnanka, it takes into account all this calculation by itself. So, why I'm sharing all this? When we look at our individual name, I'm touching Jatak and I'll come back to mundane again. And when a lot of problems sometimes in our lives are happening because our name is not in sync. I'll give you an example. Now, I'm coming back to Jatak, mundane again. Sorry for being mixing, in case it is getting a bit complex. Now, after applying these techniques and getting to Aquarius, I need to evaluate it a bit deeper. I evaluated by reaching out to Moon, right? By going to planet sound. Now, one level more. Why only from Lagna? Why not evaluate from other places? I need to see how it is for public at large. How it is from Aruda, as an example, right? 6th house. So, what does it mean? Is it good or bad? Generally, we say, oh, 6th house, no, not good. Hey, the purpose here is war and winning the war. So, remember, Modi ji has Rahu in 6th house. And when Rahu is in 6th house, the person is going to evaporate the enemies completely. So, if the name is coming to the 6th house from Aruda, the perception it gives to the general public, to the enemy across the world, the moment they will listen to the word Sindoor or they will look at the name Sindoor, it will cause shivers in their mind, in their heart. The energy which Rahu gets when it is in 6th house, the similar kind of energy, because this name is also activating Rahu. The similar energy will go to the minds and hearts of the enemies and public at large the moment they listen to this name. That's how the name has come up. And that's the beauty of the parampara. So that we are very sure that Aquarius sign is being activated. And then we are evaluating it through different ways. Now I'm coming back again to Jatak because my purpose is Jyotish, right? So when we face so many problems, sometime in career, sometime in wealth sphere, sometime happiness. And if we solely look at the resort of numerology and we change spellings, even I did that about 15 years or 10 to 12 years back, I did change in my spelling, change the spelling of my name. But when I realized gradually after learning all these things, then I understood, oh, it is not only numerology. Because, see, that may or may not come. It may take care of single aspect, maybe, very, very limited. But this wholesome approach looks at the change in name from multiple angles, whether it is in sync with you, with your career, whether the name is in sync with your finances, whether the name is in sync with your overall happiness and contentment. So then we evaluate from all the kendras. it is in sync with you or not. If it is, then that is the name to be suggested. And spelling change may not be required. The requirement can be completely different. The suggestion can be to completely come up with a different first syllable. Complete change of name can be suggested. And how many phonemes can be in the name? Right, Sindoor, it has 3 phonemes, right? Right, the word Ram has 2, R and Ma. Okay, so that also to be calculated. And there are so many other things. So that name change is a really, really serious thing. Do not take it lightly and solely on the basis of numerology. That is the purpose of this video. And I am trying to analyze that word Sindoor. And it was not, I don't think they would have looked at it from astrological perspective, because sentiments are behind this name. And we understand the kind of sentiments are there. So it was purely basis those sentiments, those pride, the prestigious things are there. But somehow, things are working out in such a way that this name is activating planets which are activating and making India's Lagna strong. Very, very strong. That is a good thing. Okay. Now, so we have seen so far, coming back to mundane once again, we have seen so far that it is going to activate Mars. It is going to activate Rahu and Moon. All right. Now, generally, when we talk about name, there's a question. When I was a child, people used to ask question, what is one thing which is yours but used by others more than you? And the answer is your name, right? It has a clue, Jyotish clue, used by others more than you. So people call you. It is being used in calling. The sound is there when it comes to individual Jatak name. But Operation Sindoor, how many times you have used or you have spoken the word Sindoor? Rarely. Journalists or media people, even they are not speaking it so much. They're not taking it so much. They are using the word, but it is more being visualized. That is the difference between a Jatak individual name versus the name of an operation in this case. So what does it mean? It means I need to also evaluate it in a slightly different way. So that's where Jyotish is a science and art. The calculation part is science, art. But when we need to really understand the practicality of a scenario, it is science part of it. So now this is the practicality, that we are looking at the name more than we are using it as a vocal, right? So the moment we talk about the visualization, what does it come to our mind? Something red, something which makes us feel agitated or which boils our blood in this current context. So Mars gets activated because the color is red, deep red. If you look at the way they have captured first O, it is all about the vermilion, which is deep red. So that's where in an individual name, Jatak name, I'll not go into this trajectory. But in this case, I need to be practical. So visualization impact is also coming. The color is also coming. Mars is getting activated in addition to Rahu and Moon. So that is the thing. So we have to now look at the transit aspect just to be able to understand how does this play in the upcoming days. Okay, if you're interested. So see, Mars is currently in the sign Cancer. As we are speaking, today is 11th of May. It is debilitated and it represents our enemy because it is the 7th house for India. And it is debilitated. Okay. So for India per se, now let us evaluate what is Mars for India. India, Taurus Lagna, Mars is in the 3rd house. This is one aspect of it. Now there are different ways to analyze. One of the ways is that Mars, look at India's natal chart. We have Saturn there. We have 4 planets in the sign Cancer. Out of those 4, Saturn and Venus I like to highlight. Why? Because Saturn and Rahu were the one which were 8th from Navamsha moon for India, and Shraddha Yoga got activated. Plus Aquarius sign is getting activated because of this name. In any case, Saturn is also coming into play. And in the sign Cancer, Saturn and Venus are there. So when we reach to 19th of May, so 19th of May to 25th of May, things are going to change completely. Why? Because, first of all, Venus, I mentioned that Venus and Saturn are there. Then this transit Mars is going to activate Saturn during that period completely. And when Mars gets associated with Saturn, we call Yama Yoga. Okay? So earlier there was Shraddha Yoga, there were loss of people. Yama Yoga is all about killing people, killing the enemy completely. Just eradicating. 19th to 25th. Okay? So keep that in mind. Now, if that's the case, what is the role of Venus? Venus is the Lagna Lord of India. Taurus Lagna. So when Lagna Lord is also involved with this Yama Yoga, then there will be intent. And don't forget, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, is Libra Lagna. Lagna Lord is Venus. So he will be absolutely involved in these decisions. And there will be complete anarchy. Yama Yoga will get activated. Also keep in mind, 19th May is that day when Rahu will also move away from Pisces to Aquarius. That Shraddha Yoga will get broken. And Yama Yoga will get activated. So if some actions are taken during that period, 19th to 25th May, it will be really chaotic action, aggressive action, super aggressive actions will be taken place. And also, let me also draw your attention to the point that at this juncture, India has been really cautious, not very aggressive. It has been retaliating, not aggressive. Why? Because Jupiter is in Taurus, Lagna of India. Okay? So it is restricting India's aggression. Hey, you will say Jupiter is a planet of expansion. Why it is restricting the aggression? Okay. Jupiter is the planet of expansion when it comes to Jupiterian things, goody thing. When it comes to peace, Jupiter will not expand war. It will give the thoughts in the head of the people. It is not good. Let us find out the ways to protect the dignity of our country, the sovereignty of our country, teach the lesson to the enemy, but still, as far as possible, save the lives of the humanity, save the property, save the lives, save people. That kind of thought will come. After 14th of May, Jupiter will move from Taurus to Gemini. It will be out of India's Lagna. So those thoughts may not come that easily. Rather, Rahu, which is a Lagna of India, birth chart, will provide Rahu kind of thoughts. On top of that, after 19th May, this Yama Yoga will get activated, super activated. And Shraddha Yoga will get broken from 19th May. You can see how things are folding up. So 19th to 25th, things can be really aggressive. But also, let me also tell you, it is not a one-sided because this Cancer is basically in the 12th from India's birth chart, Navamsha Moon. Moon is in Leo in Navamsha and Cancer the 12th. So the losses can be on both sides. But the approach will be super aggressive. Okay. Now coming back to, and let me conclude without making it too long. What is the summary? We started from the custom that people put the name basis where the moon is in the birth chart. Hey, but I did not analyze it from the moon. Did I miss it? Let me do it. From India's birth chart, moon is in Cancer and Aquarius is in 8th. So this name is coming in the 8th from moon, Chandrashtama. How can this be good? That's the Parampara magic. I wanted to conclude with this thought that this is how Parampara helps to learn Jyotish. Now, this is not taught to me directly, but this is how you can interpolate things. There are different concepts in Shadbal and other places that, see, there are two different charts, Rashi chart and Navamsha chart. And you need to figure out which chart is getting activated at what point. Okay? So, we have seen that when this attack took place on 22nd of April, Pahalgam attack, on that day, from India's Rashi chart where moon is in Cancer, things are fine because all these 4 planets in Pisces are in 9th from Cancer, which is fine. Then why did attack took place? That's how we went to Navamsha moon, which is more for international relations, and we saw that, okay, from Navamsha moon, which was in Leo, these planets were in 8th. That Shraddha Yoga, Saturn, Rahu was in 8th. And that's how this thing happened. So we have to look at this from the moon, Aquarius from Navamsha moon, because that is being activated from international relation. How this name will help India or not help India? From Leo sign, Navamsha moon, Aquarius is 7th, which is 7th is all about business partnership. And on top of that, when this name is also activating Rahu, that giving that edge of political diplomacy. And the 7th is also Kendra. So this name will also help India in terms of establishing relationship with foreign countries and also bringing them to a consensus, while the Lagna is also strong. So this name is super strong for India. And that's the grace of Jupiter. When Jupiter is in Lagna and such things happen, Jupiter is always a savior. It puts the things in the nicest possible way. All right. So please give due importance whenever you like to get your name changed, whenever your personal name, business name, kindly give due consideration. It takes a whole lot of time to reach to the change of name. It is not an easy job. You have to evaluate so many things. I just called out a few, only a few. It takes hours. If you are very serious and particular about finding the right name, which is good for your finances, for your career, for your contentment, happiness, and for your overall life, it is a task in itself. All right. So with this thought, I'll see you soon in another video. Till then, Om Namah Shivaya.